against you. But Hal's pretty blunt, which is why he's fun to play. He just does exactly what he's thinking. Yes.
Did Spielberg ever come to the set?
Spielberg did come to set one time. That was a pretty awesome situation. So we were shooting the pilot, and the pilot is the first episode of a series. And there's usually more time put into the pilot. We usually shoot a show in 8 days. So each episode is 8 days, a week and then 3 on the next. We get the weekends off. But the pilot was shot over a month. And we were just shooting one day. We were in Toronto. You'd think Toronto would be cold, but in the summertime it's ridiculously hot. But we're dressed like it's wintertime because in the show it was wintertime. So you've got like 3 layers on, a jacket, you're running around, running from aliens, trying to not die. And everybody's sweating, extras are dropping left and right in the background. I'm in the middle of a scene, and we have this prop guy who comes up. And this guy's really funny. I consider him a friend. And he comes up to me, and he looks all excited. He says, the man's on set. And I say, okay, cool, but I'm in the middle of a scene. Like, let me do my thing here. And he says, no, Steven Spielberg's here. And sure enough, he's behind the monitors. So he's about to watch my next take. So I've got to have the pressure of, your normal pressure on top of Steven Spielberg is now going to be watching this take. And it all went well, and he ended up calling me over, and he wanted to see the dirt bike that I have on the show back in the first season. He takes me off to the side, 20 feet away from everybody else, and the two of us are just chatting. Me and Steven Spielberg. I'm from Alabama. The fact I was chatting with Steven Spielberg was a little crazy. Yes.
Yeah, what do you think of the alien races on the show? Do you think that they could be, possible?
Well, from what we know here on Earth, no. But I like how they've played the aliens. Because you have 2 different types between the Ishveni and the Volm. The Volm, they can speak our language. They seem more intelligent, but the Ishveni must be smart because they're able to travel from wherever they came from, and they have this technology. Why they're not smart enough to have handheld guns, I'm not sure, but it really is beneficial for us so that they can't shoot us from a distance. Only the mechs can, who, by the way, have horrible shots. If you're a main character, a mech will probably never hit you, but if you're a background, you better watch out. But yeah, I like the way they've played out the aliens. And all those guys are practical suits for the most part, unless the aliens are running on the ceiling or doing anything fast. Wow. The alien is a guy in a suit. So the suit only comes to about right here on him, and it has all the little sockets for where a leg would go. And there's a small little red light that's in there. And somehow in the post-production with computers, they can digitally put the legs in, and that's what crawl around. And he's just on a stool about the size, it has no back. It's like a computer desk stool, and he just kind of walks around like this, rolling around. He has a black leotard on, and they just paint that out and put the legs in, and that's how the skitters move around. The Volm are always just a guy with a big pole and a tennis ball on top, and he's just walking towards you, because that's the reference for the computer and the camera to be able to see where to put the alien. So anytime we're running or yelling at or being scared of something, it's literally a guy with a pole walking about this fast towards us. And if you think about it, you feel like an idiot, so you don't think about it. Yes?
What was it like dating a girl who was on Degrassi? I just read your Wikipedia.
Dating a girl that was on Degrassi? Who was on Degrassi?
Cassie Steele.
Oh, like in real life?
Yeah.
I never dated her.
Why does it say that?
No, the internet's a lying place. Yeah, no, I never dated her. No. I don't think I've ever dated an actress. Yes.
You have the same birthday.
May 16th?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
We should have a party.
Yeah, Taurus?
Yeah.
A Taurus party? What year?
96.
96. You got a decade on you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh well. Oh well. Yeah.
What kind of scenes do you like to shoot the most on set?
I enjoy, yeah, see you guys later. I enjoy shooting pretty much anything other than a boring scene, which a boring scene would be a scene that you're in and it's just explaining a situation, which is very necessary to the episodes. Having to set up the scenario of what's happening and the characters talking to each other is informing the audience as to what's going on. So sometimes those get boring just because this guy talks, this guy talks, this guy talks, I talk. And it's not a whole lot going on. There's not a lot you can do with it other than just state the line. But the action sequences are incredibly fun because the production value on the show is ridiculous. You have these big fireballs that'll go off and people are shooting guns, and so it's making the noise. It's a bunch of blanks, and you still have to be careful because the way a blank works is it looks like a bullet casing, but the end is crimped together like this. So when it's ignited, it just opens, and then nothing but the gunpowder goes off, and you can see the little flame. But if one of those little fingers happens to come off when it opens, now you have a projectile and you have a little bullet. So you can shoot somebody. So you have to be real careful, which kind of heightens the excitement of it all. But when we were shooting the pilot, we had this whole city street shut down, and we had cars flipped over on it, bullet marks all over, looked like fire damage, and they had that big barricade that Tom and I are running towards in the beginning. And so we'd been shooting all night long. It was probably 6 in the morning at this point, maybe 5, because the sun was about to come up, and this boy had to get the shot quick. They had this huge barricade, and they had these 3 big explosions that were all going to go off at one time. This is the first time I've ever done any action sequence. It's like any of you, you're about to do your first action sequence. Put your gun on your back and go for it. So they wet down the streets, so the asphalt's a little slick, and I'm all excited and pumped up and nervous and just everything you can be feeling at that moment. And I'm in front, and Noah's behind me, who plays Tom, and the camera guy's behind him. And so I'm sitting there, and I know where I've got to go, and if I go the wrong place, I get blown up because it's gasoline blowing up, and so I'm focused on it. And they call action, and I'm so excited that I slip. My back leg kind of slips, and I fall on the ground, and Noah's excited, and he falls on top of me. The camera guy falls on top of us, and there's a guy over there with a little button who's about to blow the whole thing up. Like when it's the right time, he clicks it, and boom, the whole thing goes up, and it takes like an hour to reset it. So everybody's like, don't blow it up yet! And we were just seconds away from the whole thing being screwed up, and then the sun would have come up, and we had to come back the next day. So luckily it didn't. Nothing bad happened. I did get a little scar from it, though, right here. It was kind of like a little trophy. Me going down, embarrassing moment, good times. Oh, going back to the question, but I also love working on the scenes that are very character-driven.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do, and so those are the ones you have to actually get in and work on. The action sequences, I rarely put a whole lot of work into it because you never know how it's going to be configured. It's hard to plan what you want to do. It's also a trap of an actor is to try to plan what you want to do. You want to just know everything you can know, and then on the day take it in and react to it just like you would normally. So with the action sequences, you don't really have to put a whole lot of time into it. Whereas on the other ones, you gotta be ready, fully filled up emotionally, however you need to be, and then play off the other person. And I love doing those. We have some great Hal and Maggie scenes coming up this year with some good stuff.